becoming a better person has a hidden trap inside of it. And I want to tell you what that trap is and give you some tips so you can avoid it. This was something I recognized a long time ago. Have you ever noticed that when you're ever having a discussion with someone or even yourself, and you mention that phrase of I want to become a better person, that in the process when you say it yourself or you watch somebody else say it, there's a sense of sadness, a sense of, man, I'm just not there. I'm not quite who I want to be yet. You can see it in their eyes, their body expression, their mannerisms, that somehow there's pain. There's a pain involved. Well, the reason for that is, do you hear what that sentence implies? I want to become a better person. It implies who I am in this moment isn't good enough. And that's what you're seeing in yourself and in others, is a lack of really acceptance and forgiveness for where you are. And that's the trap. Everyone's out there to become a better person, make more money, have a better relationship, be a better parent. And yet as they pursue it, there's an undeniable gnawing in their gut that something isn't perfect, something about them, that they won't be that better person until they get those things. Well, that is part of what keeps us from being that better person. It's a lack of acceptance. Now, the question is, where does that come from? Why do we have that? It's pain. I mean, my God. Think of what we've all been through. I mean, just look at the last month. Politics, COVID. My God, just getting through a day is pure hell. Like, it's a lot. And then you throw in divorces, addictions, deaths, friendship loss. I mean, childhood, parent less than perfect parenting, even though they adored us. My God, every single one of us has been through hell. We just have. Now, the difficulty is that's why we're feeling that feeling is, one, that pain hasn't been fully worked through, but also it's not an acceptance of, I did the best I could with wherever I was. And see, I talked about this like a week ago, that people are very hard on themselves of, I should have done better, I know better. Well, that may be true, we may know better, but if we're not doing it differently, then we're literally doing the best we can. Even today, as you're pursuing that better person in you, this is the best version of you that you've ever created. Look through your life. Look at how many versions of you've been through. And each one was a little bit better than the last one, knew a little bit more. And what did you need? Time, experience. I mean, change and becoming a better person. Nobody, on their first try gets something perfect. We all are constantly trying. And so when we have that expectation of, I have to be a better person, it's a lack of acceptance for the process, and it's a lack of forgiveness. Really, it's a lack of forgiving ourselves for our perfectly imperfect nature, for doing the best we can in the moment. As I always say, we can only do what we know. As we know better, we can do better. And even as we know better, the process of knowing it and taking action on it, that's a feeling shift. That's not a thought shift, because we have the proof right there. We're thinking it, but we can't act on it until that feeling in us changes. So if you're wondering, which side do you fall on? Ask yourself, when you think about becoming a better person, is there a gnawing in your gut? Like, until I get that, I won't be happy with myself? Well, that's a sign that, one, there's a lack of acceptance for your perfectly imperfect nature. There's a lack of forgiveness, and there's probably some pain you haven't addressed. And that's eating away at you. Another way you can tell is, are you hiding? Are there things in your life you've never told anyone about? Are there things in your life, many people go through childhood abuse or, they have silent addictions or, certain struggles and they don't want anyone to know. Well, do you see how by holding that back, that's a lack of acceptance? That was something I had to tackle when I decided to, I always knew this was what I was meant to do work-wise. But my God, if you've watched me at all, I have a ton of skeletons, addictions, and, done some horrible things. And I was like, I have to be willing to accept and forgive myself for where I was at the time. It was the best I could do. And if I'm not willing to expose it in everything, it's all in my book, it's all in my videos, every skeleton I've ever had, I never shy away from telling it. That was the only way I could accept and forgive myself, is I had to be willing to look at that and go, am I okay if everybody knows? And if I'm not, how can I teach other people? That really became the choice. And so I'll never forget the first time I spoke about it publicly. And it was freedom for me. But that's my journey. But that's what you're looking for is there a hesitation for people to know those deeper, darker secrets? That means you haven't accepted your imperfections, you haven't forgiven yourself, and you might need to do some work around that pain to release it. The next solution for you is to look at your life. Like I said earlier, my God, look at what you've been through. It's astounding what all of us go through in our lives. And you've done an amazing kick-ass job to get this far. Think of it. With all the things we don't teach about life and relationships and all these different things, and you've made it this far. You figured it out. That's bloody impressive. Absolutely impressive. Remind yourself of that. My God, I'm killing it. The version I am today is the best I could ever be. Now, the final piece, the final solution, this is something I do every night. You know how they say with a spouse, you should never go to bed angry with them? Like, you should clean up that fight. Make sure you guys are in peace before you go to bed. Well, I make damn sure I'm at peace with myself. I look through my day. I always hunt down where my imperfections were, where, I was less than perfect, and saw my process as I worked through it. And I accept it and forgive it. It was the best I could do that day. Even if I know better, I realize the process of doing better takes time to shift. It takes those feelings, because it's a feeling shift, not a thought shift. If it was just thoughts, we could all just say things and our life would immediately change. It doesn't. Not until that feeling changes. And the way I found to make that feeling change is that every night I go to bed, and I never go to bed without clearing up the fight within myself, ever. I always reconcile that and look through my day, accept where I am in the process, forgive myself for my imperfections, and that settles it. I don't go to bed angry with myself. And that's what I'd encourage you to do, those two things. Drop the billy club. You're killing it, absolutely killing it. We can only do what we know, and as we know better, we can do better. And as we learn to do better with those feeling shifts, we can do better. And if we choose to do the work to become an expert in healing that pain that creates those feelings from keeping us from doing better, that's the next step. And finally, man, don't go to bed without clearing up the fight within yourself. Accept yourself that you were perfect today. It was the best version of you could be. And forgive yourself for whatever you did. Just have some grace. So I hope you're having a great Friday. I hope that helps you. Have a great day.